Right.
I know.
Wild, tumultuous, man.
Yeah, absolutely wild. But at the end of the day, it's been constant touring up until obviously this year, and playing in so many different places, like the 5 continents, everything. And honestly, that is what we've always really wanted to do. So in that sense, it's super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've had this last year to reflect. I'm sure as most has had this year to reflect. And yeah, it's just there's so much that we've done in the last 3 years that it, feels just like an absolute, a good train wreck.
Yeah. It is odd, like there are certain senses that it is always hometown, visually especially. You go home and there's that nostalgia of the smells and seeing the town, and especially during Christmas, which is awesome. But it is very shocking at times when you go around and it's not exactly the same as how you left it,
Hey, Mom, would you go to the grocery store for me?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What's it like to get that phone call?
I remember when we were first asked, it was very shocking. It was like, oh, cool. Wow. I almost couldn't even believe it.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that a band like Metallica too now sort of stands as the pinnacle figure for rock and roll. I think, they're the godfathers of that genre at this point. So it was like honorary to such a high degree, especially in South America. I mean, that was the cherry on top too. It was like, you'll be opening for Metallica, fantastic, but you'll be opening for Metallica in South America, where rock and roll is God,
Yeah, absolutely. And we were supposed to kick off the year with that. It was going to be our 2020 debut of touring, so it was even cooler that was how we were starting it all. I mean, that was a huge difference for us.
Yeah, I mean, it offered that. I mean, so much extra time. I mean, we had the record done, and the pandemic set in, and it was like, okay, we're gonna go out to the country and we're gonna write more music, and we added 2 more songs onto the album entirely. I mean, it certainly changed what the album is going to be. And I think I'm sure certain for many artists, I think that dictated a lot of change within their most recent works. But for us, for certain, it was very beneficial. I think we always have objectives. Yeah, certain things that everybody wants to try to achieve, and we sort of culminate those and mesh them together in one body of work. I think this time around it was really focused on capturing performances. I mean, we basically tracked all of these pretty much live. I mean, straight through. And I think that the Ballot Gardens case is an honest representation of, I think, where we are currently as musicians, as songwriters, as performers, as instrumentalists and studio musicians. So
after years of playing and playing.
Yeah.
When do you guys go back?
I think a lot of this new album will offer more substance, and quite literally there will be more songs on this album, and it'll be a longer album than we've ever released before. So the spectrum of sonic color, of the album will be far broader than it ever has been before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really dense album. It's really dense. There's it's very concentrated. And I think, a lot of the influence that, sort of informed the album was, the places that we've been in the last 3 years, and the amount of people we've played for, and the cultures that we've seen, the whole community. This album sort of is informed by that.
It's very personal to us, I think.
Yeah. I mean, all of it, really. I mean, I think, it was like, again, like something like My Way Scene definitely was written on the road, and it was definitely kind of, it's pieced together there. But reflects a lot of that energy, reflects a lot of what touring sounds like. I think it feels like to us. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of about our personal experiences, and it's about every, individual's freedom, I think, personal freedoms. We were sort of thrown out into the world at a really young age. And it's like, at that point, it was like really a choice, and we chose the road. So I think that's my way soon.
Thing that we run into that I feel that a lot of artists don't, and it's just so bizarre, is we often overwrite our songs. It's so hard to write a song that is within the 3-minute mark for us. It is almost impossible at times. It's just when we write, it does not feel like 6 minutes at all until we actually record it. And then we're always just curious, how long is it? How long is it?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's way longer than I thought.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was something that was really organic. I mean, we like to go out off the beaten trail to, cabins and places in the mountains of the country and write. And that's kind of where we come from. That was sort of the ethos of our creative spirits to a certain degree. And that, again, we were somewhere out. It was in some cabin and we were writing, we had bits and pieces and we were basically just sculpting Asian Machine. And again, it was like, okay, cool, get going, and we'll start arranging this thing. And then, we demo it and we look at each other. It's like 8.5 minutes long originally. And it's like, oh, okay. Let's recoil this a bit. But yeah, again, like Danny said, it's always ends longer than we anticipate.
Perhaps, yeah.
Leave it to the imagination.
We had numbers and dates. And